All right, so next topic that Mr. President or President Duterte attacked are the telecommunication companies. So he said that he's going to devote the remaining 2 years of his presidency attacking or looking at the telecommunication companies who also represent oligarchs in this country. So we have the Lopez family, they're down, and he's gonna go after the other businesses, the other cronies and oligarchs who own our water and electric and telecommunication facilities in this country. Listen.
For the remaining 2 years of my term.
All right.
All that is good that belongs to government, whether it be the airwaves, whether it be the lines, or whatever that is good for the people, will belong to the government, and it should be government who should be given the first option to utilize them.
All right, here Mr. Duterte clearly shows his socialist trappings, showing the trappings of his socialist ideology and belief. So, you might say that, well, Mr. Duterte's critics today are the socialists, are the leftists, are the statists, are the communists. Well, the reason why is he had this honeymoon, very short honeymoon after his election, because before President Duterte's election, one of his biggest supporters in the Philippines are the communists, especially Mr. Jose Marie Sison, the leader, the apparent known leader of the Communist Party in the Philippines, who's currently living in the Netherlands. These are his supporters, biggest supporters and endorsers. And in one of his interviews, Joma Sison even likened President Duterte to Hugo Chavez Hugo Chavez in Venezuela and Fidel Castro in Cuba, if I'm not mistaken. So, because Duterte is a supporter of, or was a supporter, and probably is still a supporter of socialism, except that, the truth is, the communists, they agree with each other as well. Okay, they're humans. Okay, I don't believe, and it's actually a myth that when you're a communist, you don't have to disagree with each other. And as we all know, we have all these mass burials in this country, in which the communists killed their own comrades because they left the party, they left the revolutionary party, and they don't want their comrades, for example, leaving the revolutionary cause that they've been fighting for years. And we've heard of a lot of killings by Joma Sison's men of their former comrades, for example. So yes, communists kill each other because communists hate competition. So what I'm telling you is, after the honeymoon on the rebels in this country, the communists still continued to ambush and kill soldiers. All right, despite the fact that President Duterte tried to appease them and even want to share the government with the rebels or the communists. But then, probably Mr. Duterte thought that he could appease the rebels or Joma Sison, but he didn't realize that, he's dealing with the very people who has his own temperament and ideology. So pare-pareho lang silang mainitin ng ulo. And Mr. Joma Sison even called Duterte butangero. Okay, so I'm very much familiar with that incident in 2016, 2017. So, alright, so the rebels and the CPP NPA continued to ambush and kill soldiers, and President Duterte called it, this is not gonna be Good. So my cats are playing in the background, by the way. So Duterte realized that he would not be able to appease. He will not be able to appease his comrades, and so he declared war against them. So that's the reason why Duterte is a socialist, and in terms of his ideology, he's a leftist. All right, but it doesn't mean that if you're a leftist, you're gonna go to the mountains and wage war against this country. No, that's not what American socialists are doing. That's not what European socialists are doing. The difference between Joma season and the European socialists in the Netherlands is that the Dutch, okay, the Dutch and the European leftists believe in parliamentary struggle, but Joma season is like a classical, Marxist. He believes in bloody revolution. Some people still have this mentality. So some people might even tell me and say in the comment below that, if Duterte is a socialist, then why is he not, turning this country into a socialist utopia? Well, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. Even Obama tried to do that. It's not easy because you don't have the military. So despite the fact that Duterte has, for example, the probably 80 to 90% support of Congress, basing on how these members of the franchise committee, legislative franchise committee, voted against abs-cbn, 70 versus 11 voting in favor of abs-cbn's franchise renewal. I must tell you that President Duterte has 80 to 90% support of Congress, so it's not enough for him to really turn this country into a socialist utopia. Probably he can do it piecemeal, little by little, but he could not do it the way Hugo Chavez did in Cuba, even in Venezuela. No, not Hugo Chavez, but Fidel Castro in Cuba. I need to correct that. And even in Venezuela, Hugo Chavez had to use the power of Congress. Okay, he had to do it in a couple of years, in a span of like 12 years, in order to fundamentally transform Venezuela into a socialist utopia that it is now today. Now, the president is like threatening these owners of telecommunications in this country that if you're not gonna do better, if you're not gonna make your service better, like what other telecommunications in other countries are doing, and the people in those countries are enjoying, if we're gonna make a better job, I'm gonna close all of you. He said that in this video.
Sobra kanila. I call on our communication companies to improve their services lest we be forced to take drastic steps to address the less than deal service that the public is getting from you. Alam mo, sisingit na lang ako dito. I am sometimes you are a government pictured to be weak and incompetent because we cannot really force our mandate. Alam mo itong nagbibigay ng mga public services, you better improve. Huwag naman ninyo kaming 10 taon bago kami makakamit ng mga services that the other countries are enjoying. If it's just a question of added capitalization or the infusion of money, go and look for it. Maghanap kayo, because if you are not ready to improve, I might just as well close all of you.
Alright, so that's the part in which he said that if you're not gonna improve your services, if it's not about money at all, if it's not about additional capitalization, and if you're not able to do the job better than we expect you to do, then we're gonna close all of you. The question is, Mr. Duterte, who are you gonna replace them with? In our country, we have two options probably. It's either the government is gonna take over all of these telecommunication companies, okay, which is what he said here. We're gonna sequester or nationalize, or he used the term appropriate or expropriate all of them. That's what he said. So his option is nationalization, and the other option is let his new cronies or oligarchs take over. Alright, but the problem with Mr. Duterte is that he seemed to not understand that the reason why we have all these oligarchs and cronies in this country is because of government, big government, regulations, okay? And a lot of people don't know this, but I need to tell you this, okay? The telecommunications, media, all of these public utility sectors are protected from outside competition or foreign competition. And that's the reason why all of them are, and not only that, these are government mandated monopolies, okay? These are monopolies supported by the government, all right? And that's the reason why, it's not surprising that all of the big owners of these corporations are all of these politically connected cronies who now became oligarchs, all right? And the third solution to this oligarchy that the government created is big government, bigger government. All right, so let's just say we have a 60-40 ownership system in this country, okay? If foreign company, whatever that is, Telstra, for example, they won't be able to compete in this country, even if that means better service, faster, internet connection, and cheaper internet service. The reason why is all of the framers, most of the framers of our constitution are either leftists or statists. So like I said, you don't have to be a communist to be a leftist. Some of them were probably centrists, but the constitution in this country is full of leftist dogma, full of leftist policies, okay? All you need to do is check on them. And President Duterte is threatening to take over. And he's going to man all of these telecommunication companies with politicians, with appointed bureaucrats who don't know anything about running a business. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?